Hi guys, I'm Kasia. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies and horror. And today I bring you another review. This time it is a Spanish horror movie that came out not long ago on Netflix, and that is Tin and Tina.
It's coffee time.
It is a Spanish horror thriller movie directed by Rubin Stein, and it was released on Netflix. He already had a 12-minute long short including the twins Tin and Tina back in 2013. Now 10 years later he comes with a full-length movie, and I say full-length because this is a 2-hour long film. Two orphaned twins are taken into a convent where they receive a strict education. Soon, a young couple adopts the twins, whose obsession with religion soon disrupts the family. Horror movies love to warn us to be careful if we wish to adopt children. The Omen, Carrie, Children of the Corn, and Orphan. And this, my friends, is another cautionary tale. The movie takes place in Spain in the 70s. We are first introduced to Lola and Adolfo. They are a couple that are just getting married and they are happy to start their family. Unfortunately, Lola, that was pregnant at the wedding, has a miscarriage, is taken to the hospital, and she gets the really bad news that she's not gonna be able to bear children herself anymore. 6 months later, Lola is still very depressed, so the husband suggests that they maybe go and try and see if they can adopt. Initially, they want to bring home a newborn, a baby, but when they get to the convent, Lola gets to meet two very special kids, a set of twins called Tin and Tina. Adolfo says they are too old, but Lola says that they just need love and someone to love them, and she is captivated by them and decides to give it a shot and takes the twins home. The kids have been raised at the church by nuns, and basically all they know is the Bible, and the Bible. So they are very religious, and they have a very interesting way of interpreting the Bible, which is quite literally. Milena Smith, who plays Lola, does a fantastic job because she has to go through so many different emotions throughout the film. It is a 2-hour long movie where she's gonna have to go through, first of all, a miscarriage, which is something quite horrifying to experience as a woman, and then she is going to have to be kind of getting happier that she's adopting the twins, but then things take a darker turn and she will face so many horrors. So I really liked her character arc. Adolfo also did a wonderful job, and the twins. I think the acting is fairly decent in this movie. The interesting thing also about Lola as a character is that she's not religious really, but we don't know as a viewer if she was always non-religious or if it started when her misfortune started to happen, if she left the religious beliefs after her miscarriage, after thinking that God was not listening to her, after, you know, getting the twins and things are going also wrong. So we don't know if that started before or after, but it is a really interesting dynamic between her not believing and the kids that were raised basically in a Catholic church, and that all they think about is the Bible and to follow what the Bible says. The director manages to create a real sense of like unease, unsettling feeling as the movie progresses, and he's not just simply pointing the camera at the characters in scenes that could maybe seem a little bit like staged. He's being creative in his directorial choices, and he is filming sometimes from really unusual angles who kind of add to the atmosphere, to that creepiness. The music is also fantastic. I think they did a really good job at choosing a background music that actually really works well with the scenes that are supposed to be more terrifying and unsettling moments. And then we also have other tracks in the movie that are there for the children, for them to be kids, because that's what they are at the end of the day, and to play a little bit more on the innocent side of kids. But I will say that I feel this movie was way too long. I think it was not needed for what the movie was trying to portray and say. A 2-hour long film, I think it is a little bit too extended. And it's interesting because it comes from an idea that he had, and he did a short film of 12 minutes, and you would imagine he could be able to, you know, put all the information together in a shorter movie. I think this is one of those movies that is like a 90-minute movie. I don't think it needed the full 2 hours. On the surface, this movie might look like your typical creepy horror film where kids are doing or saying horrible things. And part of the beauty of this movie is that you as a viewer almost have the feeling that the kids are innocent. You almost feel sympathy for them because all the things they are saying and doing, it's because of their belief in religion and God and the Bible, and you're questioning if they are actually aware of the things that they're doing or if they're just being naive. Tina and Tina is a movie that has some moments that are very uncomfortable to watch, and the horror is one of those that it might not be all blood and gore at all times. There are some blood and gore moments in the film, but it's one of those that just creeps under your skin because of the daring topics and the things that the movie is willing to do and show that are a little bit controversial at times. So I think those are all the parts that were my favorite in this movie. However, it was not an exploitation film where things are being done just in order to cause shock in the audience and there's no other purpose or reason for violence or anything. I think that everything that we got shown had a purpose, and some of the scenes, like I said, were quite horrifying to think that something like that could happen. I think this movie, more than your typical The Omen, you know, evil kid that does evil things, might have something more familiar with Saint Maud or other movies that address religion and how being obsessed with religion can have really dark consequences. But also this movie offers some horror things that you would expect, like a couple of jump scares. At the end of the day, you guys, I ended up giving this movie a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's an interesting watch if you don't mind a 2-hour long movie. I think the themes that it had were interesting, so at the end of the day, it was like a mixed bag for me. I love the question about how far would you go with your obsession with religion and how strong is your faith in God. All of those like more religious topics, I thought they were interesting, and I thought it was nice to see a movie about creepy children where they are just not being evil just because they are or because they are possessed. It's because of their belief in God and the Bible and taking things way too literal. So I love that more depth explanation for the kids being evil and creepy. But on the other hand, it was a little bit underwhelming with some of the horror elements, and I was not extremely happy with how they ended the film. And I feel like I'm not gonna be the only one that was not satisfied, let's say, with that ending. But anyway, you guys, I still think, you know, if you're interested in this type of films about religion and creepy children, you should give it a watch. Let me know down below, did you know about this film? Have you watched it? Do you love Spanish horror? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!